Here we go. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom! And welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Dirty Duck Coffee. If your coffee sucks, it's not the duck. I'm Jeff Stanfield with the world famous Andy Shaver.
It is Ducks Weekend 2023, May 5th, 6th, and 7th. Head out Texas Motor Speedway. We'll all be there. We'll all be singing Kumbaya in the Texas heat.
With us today from Bernie, Texas, and from outside of Kansas City, otherwise known as Mahomesville, Jay and Buck from Dirty Duck. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. How y'all?
Did you like your football draft this year, Jay?
It was okay. I mean, I feel like we plugged in, got some things taken care of that we needed to, and but I think it's with any draft, you just never know till they actually pan out.
Yeah, it's 2-3 years down the road. Our meathead cameraman Rick Keller is famous.
Yeah, he got on TV.
He was on ESPN. He had front row seats to the draft. They won. They're season ticket holders, and they won some kind of lottery where they got to go and meet Goodell, and they got to meet with the players. And his ugly ass was on TV representing the great state of Missouri about every 3 minutes during the draft. So
he was on that often?
Heck yeah.
well, he was on a bunch before the Chiefs pick, and they could have picked a prettier model than him to have.
Right. I tell you who I feel like did the best are the Eagles.
Oh, everybody else got second place.
Yeah, they stocked up.
I mean, they got DeAndre Swift in a trade. I feel like they did really well, and their draft picks are all solid. And now they replace Miles Sanders with DeAndre Swift. So
I tell you who had a great draft,
embarrassment of riches,
and nobody's talking about it today is the Arizona Cardinals. Next year, the Arizona Cardinals have the Texans and the Cardinals first draft 2 picks. There's a good chance those will both be 1 and 2 or 1, 2, or 3. They're going to have 2 of the top 4 picks next year in the draft. I thought that was pretty smart of them.
Right.
And the number 1 player coming out of college next year is a quarterback. They're not going to draft a quarterback, so they're going to trade that for 2 more picks. So it ought to be. It was pretty interesting. Buck, what'd you think of the NFL draft? Do you give a shit?
I do not. I do not at all. It kind of turned into I had Chiefs season tickets for 17 years growing up, and I sat through every heartbreaking playoff loss there was at Arrowhead. And then I don't know, they just kind of sissied up the game with all, you can't hit each other anymore, you can't touch the quarterback, and so I kind of just got turned off. I don't know, 10 years ago. So I've been more of a bandwagon Chiefs fan. The playoffs are on, they're in the Super Bowl, I'll watch it, but I don't go nuts anymore like I used to.
So you're basically like everybody in West Texas that went to Texas Tech or their cousin went to Texas Tech. They're now a Chief fan because of Mahomes. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That runs rampant around here.
I meet a lot of Mahomes. I meet a lot of Chiefs fans down here.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
It's easy to be.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, everywhere you go. I see more Kansas City Chiefs shit than I do Dallas Cowboys stuff now.
Well, I mean,
yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Makes sense.
But I mean, seriously, have you noticed that?
Yeah.
You don't see me Cowboy shit very often unless you see a truck go by and they got a star on it and Selena lives or whatever it is, and that's it.
Selena lives.
All right, let's talk about coffee. You guys have got some new bags coming out. Do we have those?
Sir.
Do we have those available for the public to see, or do they have to come to Texas Motor Speedway to see them?
You guys are the first ones that get to see this.
Uh-oh.
Well, you leaked it on Instagram.
Well, on a podcast.
Okay.
Like,
Yes.
Live and in person, seeing an actual bag.
Okay.
Everyone else is just pictures. So this is we just redid the Dark Dynasty bag.
That's sweet.
So we just kind of revamped it a little bit, added some different color to it, with the red and black. We switched up the logo on the top, put that logo on. We changed the logo of the flag. So we had like the United States in a flag. We just kind of did a torn flag type look instead. So that's the Dark Dynasty.
Oh, I like the
Kind of
side.
changed the way the ducks are on the side. And then the back, left that the same, essentially just different colors. So yeah. So revamp the old Dark Dynasty, and that's a great blend. If you like a real robust, good aftertaste type coffee, it's a little, that dark bean. So, and then I won't go to this one yet. That's the new blend. Then we revamped the Suns Up Guns Up.
Oh, there's the widgeon.
Love the cotton
There's
top.
the vision on there. Yeah, so we just kind of changed that up. So it's the same blend, the same Suns Up Guns Up blend. So it's a Colombian Supremo. So you're a little bit lighter. So it's going to give you a lot more caffeine, a little caffeine kick in there. And then just redecorated just a little bit.
That T-shirt, that's going to be your best-selling shirt now.
I think so.
This is coming in a shirt with the camouflage or just the widgeon?
We're thinking just the widgeon on a tan.
Ooh.
On a tan
Have
shirt.
them at Ducks.
I can rock with that. Jeff fucking Ducks is in 4 days. You're just going to shit out a bunch of T-shirts?
These are the dirty duck guys. They can get a lot of shit done.
Just whip them up. Whip them up.
And then last but not least, we got a brand new blend. We feel like this is going to be a huge hit, especially at Ducks this weekend, because it looks like Saturday is supposed to be 96 degrees. So it's going to be
miserable.
Toasty. But yeah, it's going to, hopefully you're in the right bay that has air conditioning.
Don't say that.
Like bay number one. But this is our new King Ider cold brew.
There we go. Now, I don't know anything about the cold brew. Like, what do you do? You just
put it on ice.
That's it. Just have coffee. Put ice in your mug and let her run on it, or what?
That's a sweet.
Yeah. So we're kind of new to cold brew ourselves, but you basically let it brew in cold water overnight for like 18 hours. And then you can add ice or more cold water to it. And then basically
explain the process again, because I'm pretty remedial here.
So we'll use like 5 pounds of, it's more of a coarse coffee. So we'll put it in like a filter bag. 5 pounds of it will make 5 gallons of coffee.
Toledo.
So you make a base out of it. You use 5 pounds to make 3 gallons of coffee, and then you'll add cold water or ice to it.
So you put it in the fridge after it brews?
You don't brew it. You don't like hot brew it. You actually just put it directly in the refrigerator and let it just sit in the cold water.
So is it kind of like
it's like an iced tea? It's steep.
It's kind of like making sun.
Okay,
tea.
I got you now.
Yeah.
But you make it.
It's the same.
But you make it in the fridge, or you make it outside.
Well, you just put it in the fridge.
In the fridge.
Well, you are remedial
for all the
today.
people that are remedial besides me. We take this, we put it in a bag, we put it in a pitcher in the refrigerator, and we let it steep for 18 hours.
Yeah.
And then it's ready to go and add.
Yeah, or overnight.
Overnight. Okay. So it's like overnight oats of the coffee world then.
Yeah. So you can buy containers that you actually make this stuff in at home that'll do, more of a individual size, but, make a couple gallons. So basically you just fill it up, put the coffee in. It's either in a filter pack or it has a container, like you put the coffee in, then the next day you just take all the grounds out and pour it over ice, drink it cold.
Well, for all you coffee experts, you three, and then the dumbass me here, there's more dumbasses like me that did not understand this deal until y'all explained it.
I didn't understand it at first, but once he explained it, I got it.
Well, we're not all as quick as you are, Andy.
Well, that's at Texas Tech Education.
Yep, you and Mahomes.
Me and my homeboy.
And then what I do is they have these cold brew pitchers. And so they got a filter that you put inside of a pitcher. And so you just dump your grounds in there. You put the cold water on top of it, throw it in the fridge, 12 to 18 hours, and then you got cold brew the next day.
Will y'all have cold brew samples at Ducks?
That's a yes.
Yep. Okay, good. Because every morning at a hunting show that I've gone to for the last 3 years, I start my morning off talking to that good-looking gal that's blind that married Buck. And I go talk to her always, and always get me a cup of coffee or two every day. And I've noticed that there's about 87 other men that have the same agenda every day. When Buck is there, nobody's there. She's there, everybody comes for some reason. I don't understand that.
Yeah, you keep on calling her the West Texas Smoke Show. She's going to end up leaving
Well,
her ass.
you know, Buck. That's what you got. That's the problem of marrying a good-looking woman from West Texas. I mean, it's just part of the deal.
Like Matt Robertson said, listen, if you didn't have the game to keep her, that's not his fault.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what Matty says.
There
you go. How long have y'all been working on this cold brew?
last 6 months or so. I think it's kind of just getting it figured out, and we wanted to release it at the right time. So it kind of put the wheels in motion in the last 2 months.
Now here's my remedial part, because like whenever you're trying to tackle this cold brew, is it similar to like how you would like as far as like the bean collection? Is it a different type of like coffee bean, or is it similar?
It's a different type of bean, and then it's more of a coarser ground.
I gotcha.
So where a lot of our stuff's real fine.
That's actually a good question, Andy, because I actually was wondering the same thing about that. Because, so the cold, what are you doing, Andy? Andy's got.
What's Andy doing? I never know what he's doing.
Jacking around doing. He's looking for something.
Meatloaf, Andy.
Hey, Andy, the meatloaf. Yeah. We want it now.
Trying to save us from catastrophe later on in life.
Okay, how long's Dirty Duck been around? 4 years now?
Yeah, we kind of consider this the start of our
third year.
So
yeah,
and
our third full year. We kind of played around with the idea during 2020, but really didn't have any business to speak of. We're just sort of getting our feet wet. So, yeah.
Well, I've noticed we're having people copycat guys now, which to me is the perfect example that you're doing a wonderful job. If people want to be you, that means you're doing something really good. Y'all's business, the market share in the waterfowl business is huge for y'all. And y'all aren't a woke company at all, and that I appreciate more than anything.
That's right. Pro 2A. Go
How
America.
much will it cost for Dirty Duck to go woke? Everything's got a price.
I mean, $20
$20. A new General Lee, and like we'll say whatever you want.
But I mean, I really, I say I would never do that. But there's a big enough check out there that my ass would wear a rainbow T-shirt around all over town. Probably. I don't hope that I would not do that, but you know,
you never know, Jeff.
You know, you might see me drinking. You might see me shotgun and Bud Light somewhere for $20 million a year. I think I'd be all over that shit. But it's crazy how these companies are getting taken over by these woke deals, and there's no benefit, I don't think, for the company.
Mm-mm.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, I think you can kind of stay in your lane and do it smart. And, I don't think everybody needs to hear everybody's opinion on something. Like, I'm not waking up every day saying, hey, is Nestle Purina going to have their opinion about XYZ, right. And that's going to shift, me buying their dog food or not. So I don't know, they kind of overreact and feel like they got to appease people. And
well, like you said, like just most of these companies should just stay out of it. Just continue to make your stuff, and just you don't have to, like you said, you don't have to have an opinion. I saw a clip of Elvis not too long ago. It was on TikTok late at night, but that's that protein shake. Damn, Buck, how long does that take to Buck burping up protein? Buck knows what I'm talking about. But Elvis, somebody asked him about one of the wars, and he's like, "It's not. I'm just a performer. Like that's I'm not smart enough to know about."
He served time in the Army, though. He did his duty.
But he said, I'm not smart enough to know the ins and outs of this. He's like, I'm just a singer. I get on stage and I sing, and he left it at that.
Well, that's because back then the people's opinion, they all had the same opinion basically. So if he was against that, he would have been against America. That's not good for him either. The NFL.
But either way, he said, I'm staying out of it.
There's two examples. The NFL and Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A made their stand. Their businesses thrived and boomed. The NFL caved in a little bit, and it hurt them for a little bit. But I did see where the NFL, more people watch the NFL draft than will watch any game in the Stanley Cup playoffs or the NBA. Some brands are just above it. Let's get back to coffee now. So we got the King Ider Cold Brew. Is that right? That's the name of it?
That's it.
Yes, sir.
It's a good-looking bag. I'm going to ask what everybody else is asking. That going to be on T-shirts also? I love y'all swag is why I keep asking this.
Yeah, we'll throw that on a T-shirt for sure.
Who came up with the duck shit under the duck is what I want to know, because that is marketing genius.
That was Buck back in the OG days.
That is badass. I'm telling you right now. I saw a duck somewhere the other day, and I thought, I wonder if it's a dirty duck, and it had the shit under it. And I said, "Yep, that's a dirty duck." And it was a cap I hadn't seen yet. But the duck shit is that's the commodity right there. That's badass.
Yeah, I had a buddy who had one of our hats for like a year, and I was sitting there talking to him one day, and he took it off and put it on the table, and he goes, "Is that duck shit?" He goes, "I thought it was the dot on the I in dirty." And he goes, "I thought it was just made wrong." And he'd owned the hat for like a year and had never noticed it somehow.
The duck shit is awesome. That
freaking
so where you're going to be at Ducks this weekend. Y'all will be giving away samples like y'all always do. You'll be selling swag and selling coffee. Where do y'all go after this?
We don't have much in June, but then it seems like late July and August we get nuts. We got Dive Bomb, Delta, Game Fair, Minnesota.
Are y'all splitting up for Dive Bomb and Delta? You're going to have to.
Who's going to be in Little Rock with me? Me and Buck will be me and Smoke Show and Buck will be in Little Rock and Shell, and everybody else will be at St. Louis sweating their balls off.
Yeah, it's late July in St. Louis that's little
you like humidity? It's a beautiful place to be.
Yes.
Hottest place I've ever been in my life was the first Squad Fest. I think it was June, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was hot. So
the record heat wave though.
Buck, tell us how Dirty Duck got its start.
I was just going up to, the Dirty Duck, the name itself, I was going up to Mound City, Missouri, where I hunt, and end up buying a old Main Street building on old brick building built in 1887. And it was just kind of made it my personal hunting lodge. And one of my buddies said, "What are you going to call this place? A Dirty Duck?" Cause it was filthy. We were tearing everything down. It was a full remodel. And I said, "I don't know. I'm sure I'll think of a clever name." And never did. And so it was just kind of something I did for fun, just kind of branded the place, with the rugs when you walk in and decals on the windows and mirror and stuff like that. So it was just something simply for fun. And then it kind of spiraled, into something more than that, I guess. So,
I did not realize that there's a big subculture of people that have cigars in the morning with their coffee. Have y'all ever done any of that? I can't. I don't think I want to smoke a cigar at 7 o'clock in the morning.
No, there for a while though, we had a guy who was an Army vet. I think he was stationed in Laredo, and every morning he'd send me a picture of his Dirty Duck coffee and what cigar he was smoking that morning.
I can't do that.
So that's a new trendy thing?
Yeah, a lot of people are they'll wake up in the morning and Cam Newton's one of them. He'll have a Nicaraguan cigar, he said, and six shots of espresso.
Mother, father.
But I don't want that taste running around in my mouth all day, I don't think.
Yeah.
But he's probably a cigar smoker. Probably smokes cigars all day too, because there are people out there that smoke. Your papa used to do that, didn't he?
No, he chewed on cigars.
But before that, he smoked them, I think.
No, I think he smoked the cigarettes.
Okay, but those people that smoke cigars all day probably do anyways. But yeah, that's a stout start to a morning.
Damn. I had a cigar last night, and I'm still tasting it today. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, I was gonna coffee cigar breath. That'd be kicking.
Could you imagine?
2 p.m. Yeah.
Could you imagine that?
There's nothing more unattractive than a woman smoking a cigar. I'm telling a woman. I've been in Vegas before. And you see them good-looking smoke shows walking around. And they got a big old fucking stogie. No.
Would you rather see her smoking a cigar or dipping?
Well, smoking a cigar. There's never been a woman dipping.
Go. So you just said no. Your line in the sand was there's nothing less attractive than a woman smoking a cigar.
Okay, you got me there.
I just trumped you.
Yeah, you did do that. Oh yeah, I've never seen an attractive woman dip. That's never in my life.
I can show you one.
A good-looking lady that dips.
Yeah.
Who?
I'm not gonna say her name on air, but I can show you one.
I think you're full of shit.
Okay.
Buck, have you ever known a good-looking woman that dips snuff?
Can't say I have.
What about you, Jay?
Yeah, it's.
And you live in the Ozarks with all the hillbillies.
I'm not in the Ozarks, man. Kansas City's about 3.5, 4 hours north of the Ozarks.
Yeah, but the Ozarks where all the hot women in Kansas City, Missouri are, isn't it? One leg's longer than the other one, so they can walk straight.
Yeah, you find some gyms down
there.
Yeah.
What about her, Jeff?
They mouthed off. You got to punch them right.
Hold on,
too.
Andy's showing me some hot chick. Who it is? I didn't think she was that hot.
She did.
Who's that?
Let me see if I can share my screen with you.
A lady that's
Yeah, I
famous
couldn't
that's
see it.
hunted with us a few times. I didn't think she was that hot. Matter of fact, I think she's one of those chicks that thinks she can stand up and piss in a beer bottle. That's not my kind of lady.
Let me see.
She does dip though.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh no. I'll send it to you on text message because it's not gonna let me share my screen.
Oh, you're good.
Were you ever a dipper, Andy?
You know what I started doing? Not straight tobacco, but I started Zins when I hunt. It's only when I hunt though. I don't do it any other time.
Let me tell you an Andy dipping story. True story.
Yeah.
We were going to Canada, North Dakota hunting, and somebody in the truck dipped. I couldn't remember who it was. And so Andy thought he would be really cool and he'd start dipping on this road trip.
Mm-hmm.
I knew how this was going to turn out, about like you guys thought he was going to turn out. And so Andy took him a partially oversized dip, maybe, put it as an old cheek and gum.
Definitely oversized dip.
We got about 12 miles down the road and he turned fucking green. By the time we stopped, he was fucking miserable. And have you dipped since then?
No. No. Fuck no. Not no, but
Yeah,
hell
my dad was a big baseball player growing up, and he told me his one dipping story. He was doing it over summer league one year, and he was a catcher. He took a foul ball at the forehead and swallowed his dip. Never did it again. So puking the whole rest of the game.
I learned not to dip when I was in third grade. I had a kid named Pee Wee that lived down the street from me.
Mm-hmm.
And if there was a kid named Pee Wee in the 70s, he was a shithead. And this kid was a total shithead. Anyways, he was about seventh grade. He introduced me dipping when I was in third grade. I fucking puked up a banana that I had at lunch, and I never, ever, ever even thought about trying to dip again. Best lesson I ever learned in life, probably right there.
We smoked off of Saddam Hussein's hookah pipe last weekend. Yeah,
Really?
Guy that
Let's rephrase
we're
that.
Friend with.
I just took a puff or two. I'm not a smoker of any kind, but I could still taste the desert from Iran in it, or Iraq, wherever the fuck he was at. I can't remember now.
Yeah, one of the guys we were with was one of the first teams to go into his palace, and that's one thing that he got was his hookah pipe. So fired that bad boy up and took a couple hits off of it. I've never done hookah before.
Was you impressed by it?
I don't think they. No.
It had to be taste better than that. What he was doing.
Yeah. Had it right by his bed. Saddam did.
Yeah, overseas they got like hookah bars you go into.
It's a lot of work to freaking smoke something, though. It was a full-time torch and a.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never done a hookah before, but evidently my wife has. She's infinitely more fun than I am. But
this is true.
She said like the one she's done, like there are like whatever the flavor's supposed to be, like you can actually taste it. This one tasted like straight tobacco.
I thought it tasted like a smoky asshole probably would smoke.
Oh.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrible.
Smoky
I'm not a cigar smoker, but I've been to a few bachelor parties and smoked a cigar, and it's 1,000 times better than that hookah is.
Right. So I don't know. Like he said he hadn't brought it out in a while, so I don't know if the tobacco had gotten old or what. But my wife was like, "Listen, the other ones are better than that." So
I just wanted to do
but
it
was a
because
novelty
it
act.
was Saddam Hussein's.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I
went to Moscow in 2005, and they had this hookah bar where we were hanging out in every night, and they put like vodka and stuff inside of it, so you're just not smoking water.
Oof.
But it's all tobacco. It wasn't like it was marijuana or anything, but it was all flavored and all
What
that
is it
stuff.
like with it being vodka down there? Like, do you get fucked up that way?
I remember.
You don't remember?
I suppose, because I mean, you got the fumes being, like coming through. So
Right.
I don't know. It's like a flavor, but
Right. I wonder if
I don't know. Weird.
What was Moscow like?
It was pretty cool. We were downtown. Like I said, this was 2005, so it's been a long time. But downtown had like a cool scene. You could kind of walk around, feel safe. You just kind of had to watch out for pickpocketers, or like back then we had digital cameras, and we're taking photos of all the buildings, and they're like, "I'll take your photo," and then they take your camera and run off and get out. We're like, "No," but no, it was a lot of fun. But we travel from there. and we'd go a couple hours out to the country for this shooting event we were going to. And it went from like Moscow looked pretty rich to like the rest of the country was just like poor, like shanty towns. So
you were there for a shooting event?
Yeah.
Mhm.
What was it difficult
Yeah,
getting your gun over there?
No, we just went through all the permits and all that stuff, and so we flew to London, and then from there up to Moscow. So
Did you go to
everything just kind of went through customs and all
Did
that
you go
stuff.
to St. Petersburg Square?
Is that where the ice cream
Yes,
cone?
yes,
looking
that's what I was
buildings are?
asking.
Yeah. We stayed right across from there in some old historic hotel. And then they shuttled
Was
us.
that building as neat as it looks on TV and stuff?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Were the chicks good looking over there? Because I've always heard Russia has beautiful women.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Palace.
Nope.
No. Palace Square.
Is that what the name of it
I
is?
think that's what
What
it's
was the
called.
food like?
A lot of vodka.
I mean, they have it for breakfast,
It's
don't
in
they?
everything.
Yeah, they served us breakfast every morning. The coffee was really good. It was like a really deep, strong coffee. I remember that. Seemed like breakfast was kind of like you'd get at a resort. Some like it wasn't big. It was like some fruit and maybe some little Benedict egg thing or something like that, something fancy. But I don't remember the rest of the time what dinners or lunches or anything. They must not have been very special. But we'd go shoot the morning flight, and then we'd like have a couple vodka drinks and kind of lay around in the afternoon sun before we had to go shoot again. So it was a lot different vibe than around here.
What time of year was it? Was it like summertime?
I think it was like October and
Was it
November.
cold?
It wasn't. It was like sweatshirt weather in the
right.
morning and then into a t-shirt in the afternoon.
Hey.
So I don't remember.
So with coffee, is there any like if you want more caffeine, is that like a darker roast or a lighter roast?
Lighter typically. So the darker roast, it's burnt more. So you're just getting rid of the caffeine. So it's actually kind of the opposite. So the lighter the bean, the more caffeine you're typically going to have in it.
How they do decaffeinated? Just curious.
Just burn the shit out of it?
I don't know. I don't drink it. So
Yeah.
I don't either.
Yeah. I mean, they always say though, you're always going to have just still have like traces of caffeine in it, even if it's decaf. You're still probably getting a small, low dose. I mean, I don't think there's any way to 100% get the caffeine out of a bean.
So I don't know if my receptors are fried from just having just crazy amounts of caffeine during hunting season, but I don't notice a kick at all. I guess I notice when I don't have my coffee, but for somebody to have to switch to decaf, I don't notice. I could go drink a pitcher of coffee and go to sleep at night with no problem. So, I mean, are people just that sensitive that they have to switch to decaf at night?
I think some people do it for different reasons. A lot of people get older, whether it's like a heart issue or something like that. So it seems like people that want the decaf, they either can't drink caffeine or they have some kind of issue they're trying to avoid.
I've got a friend of mine that if he drank a glass of tea after 3:00 in the afternoon, he can't sleep at night.
Wow.
From just a glass of tea. I'm like you. I can drink a hot cup of coffee or hot tea and go to bed immediately. It doesn't affect me one way or the other. And I also, if I drink coffee in the morning, it's more out of habit at the lodge when it's cold.
It's the ritual.
Yeah, so I go get when coffee during hunting season. The coffee pot's going all the time here, so I go get coffee or hot tea all day long. It doesn't bother me, but I don't notice a energy kick out of it at all. But I guess there are people out there that if they don't have it, they go crazy. They have to have their morning coffee.
Yeah, Andy, you need the high velocity.
The
That'll
high
get you going in
velocity.
the
So
morning.
right, yeah, I've got that, and then I've got I can't get away from the Missouri Boat Ride blend for whatever reason. That's my jam. I like it because it's got that little bit of
That was
sweet.
awful good.
It's got enough sweet in it to where I'm not having to put a whole bunch of sugar in it, and I don't know. It's just what I like.
The coffee.
We get a bunch of old guys. I was going to say, we get a bunch of old guys at the show that are just black coffee drinkers, and they're like, what do you got in here? And, we got the cinnamon teal snickerdoodle or the Missouri boat ride. And no, I don't like sweet stuff. I'm like, it's not sweet. It's just flavored. And they try it and they'll be like, damn, that's good. So,
yeah. Cause otherwise I'd put sugar in it, and that's not good for you. So it's kind of a nice little middle ground.
Them old guys though, they grew up like my dad, just drinking black coffee. That's all they had. Coon ass coffee, red eye coffee, whatever you want to call it, just straight heavy ass coffee. And so, but once they have this, it's the open mind. Once they try it, they think that's not so bad. It's a flavor, like you said. It's not a sweetener. What about the coffee bean that comes out of the damn monkey that takes a shit, or the cat? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I forget what it's called. I just heard it not very long ago, but yeah, apparently it's what is it, a monkey?
A monkey or a cat or something takes a shit, eats coffee beans, shits them out, and then who the fuck is the first person that had to try that?
Copy Uwak?
Huh?
Is that what it's called? Right here.
I can't read that. I can't.
KOPIIUWAK.
Yeah, pronounce it though.
Copy Uwak.
I don't think that's right.
Is made from coffee beans plucked from civets feces.
Yeah, civet is what it is. And they boil.
It's like a cat monkey, right?
Yeah,
cat monkey.
And they shit, and then they take that coffee. It's supposed to be really good.
And it's high
Yeah,
dollar.
it's expensive as hell.
Oh no, that's an L. That's a lowercase L. Copy Luwak.
Would you drink it, Andy?
Probably.
I would too. I'd have to try it. What about you, Buck? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'd have to try that shit. That shit's like $50 a pound or something or more.
Be good for your next pandemic. Be good for your immune system. So, a little boost there.
How do y'all come up with the new stuff? You did the cold brew. What makes you come up with a new coffee? Because, of course, the market's never over. So you've got a new brand that's going to come out in a year. So I know that. We all know that probably. What makes what do you start working on to come up with a flavored one or something?
Well, we just started with kind of our 4 basics. We wanted to try to cover from the dark Colombian. We had the high velocity because we knew we liked it. And then we just kind of started picking them off. Like we get an idea like, hey, we want, I really like this flavor. Let's try to come out with our own. And so we just kind of slowly develop what we think. We want to have a full, what's this, 8 roast for us now, Jay?
Yeah.
8. We have a couple more too to come out with that are probably before the fall. But I don't know. We just kind of over time just kind of work on what we want to try to round off the selection.
So are we doing a pumpkin spice like everybody else does coming out?
There you go. No pumpkin spice.
Probably not.
A flavor mix combination I had this weekend I've never had. I had cinnamon rolls with chili.
Oh yeah.
God almighty, that was good. Sounds don't sound good though, does it?
Ohio thing.
It's an Ohio thing.
Oh, it is. Well, that would make sense because they got
Skyline chili.
Skyline chili with cinnamon in
We
it.
had moose chili over homemade cinnamon rolls
instead of cornbread. Woo! It was good, surprisingly. Like it was.
They're sweet.
It was
sweet and savory.
It was really, really good. Like I would make it at my own house.
And they had beans in the chili, which was really a northern thing too.
That's right.
It was very, very good.
So when you get that old curmudgeon that comes up and is like, I just want black coffee, what coffee do you point them to? The Dark Dynasty?
It depends what we have made that day. So either the
makes sense.
Yeah. Because we'll typically kind of lead with some flavors that we want to kind of push. Typically the cinnamon teal, the Missouri boat ride, the morning wood, and the high velocity are kind of our top sellers. But we'll also, mix the French or the dark in there. Just kind of depends on how long the show is. If it's 3 days, we got some time, or we'll even switch in the middle of the show. But whatever we think is going to be the darkest, we'll push them towards.
Okay, not trying to get into trade secrets here, but I'm interested to know, how do you flavor a coffee to make it snickerdoodle or Missouri boat ride? Do you add something to the actual?
You have to
coffee beans. Well, I'm gonna ask.
It's a flavored oil that's added to it once it's already roasted.
So there's a recipe that you go by. So there's a lot of mixing and matching, trying to figure out what you like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like we tried. We were thinking about coming out with like a vanilla bean, and Jay and I were trying it. We just didn't think it was up to the standards of our other
Yeah, it
flavors.
was okay. It just wasn't knock you out. You knock your socks off.
Now, which one of y'all is the coffee connoisseur? Because Jay, you told me you didn't drink coffee until you got in the coffee business. Is that true?
That is correct.
So do you understand? Are your taste palate's good enough on the coffee to do that, you think?
Oh yeah, now I mean, shit, I don't think I've gone a day without having coffee since, which I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but it's just kind of been the normal now, and so I can tell the difference. I mean, especially when I travel, you're somewhere else, I kind of make it a point to even the crappy coffees to try them out, or if I'm traveling and need to stop and get a coffee for some caffeine at a gas station or whatever, like like Casey's coffee actually isn't too bad for gas station coffee. So there's different gas stations that have better coffees than others, and so you can tell when it's just that mass produced stuff. I mean, Starbucks is terrible. Like it's just not good.
It's just sugar,
at all.
Anything.
No,
that's good.
I mean, even just like I get black. Even then, it's just I don't know. It's just bland. It's just
that's
okay.
Americana, isn't it? I'm not a coffee drinker from Starbucks. If I don't drink Dirty Duck coffee, I usually don't have coffee at all. But I like the
triple whip frappuccino.
No, I'm not either.
Is what he likes.
If I go to Starbucks,
Vanilla
I get
bean macchiato.
No, I get the refresher drink, the acai, strawberry acai. That's that acai or whatever it is. That's all I get. I like that drink at Starbucks, the refresher. That's all I ever get there. But their coffee, I do not like their coffee.
I don't think I've ever had their coffee. I always get something.
Like you were making fun of me about getting.
I get the white chocolate mocha.
Yeah.
That's what I
So when you did the vanilla bean and y'all started to do a vanilla coffee, is that I guess what I'm trying to get at, when you're roasting beans to practice this stuff or to work it out, are you roasting 5 pounds of beans at once or 50 pounds of beans? What's the process of working out a new flavor?
Yeah, typically just enough to get samples of it. So they'll roast it like the flavored stuff all kind of has the same base to it. So it's the same coffee, like medium roast from like Nicaragua. And then they'll add the flavor to it. And sometimes we can kind of tweak it like, we need more, we need less, too much coconut, let's cut that back. So just kind of a trial and error. And then once we get it dialed in, it's like, it just seems like we know, like Jay and I will try it with like,
right.
Yep.
Do you,
money, let's go.
How long does it take to roast to do this? Is this an hour process, 5 hours?
To add the flavor?
No, to just roast the beans with the flavor to test this. Is this something you do in an hour or does it take all day to get one tasting?
It just depends like on what you're trying to roast. Cause like a French roast will go a lot longer than like a lighter roast will be or dark. So it's just all over the board. It's like having a cookbook with recipes.
Right. Well, so like you said, a French roast takes longer. Are we talking 16 hours, 8 hours? If someone's roasting beans, how long does it take to roast the beans to get enough to have coffee to make out of it?
I mean, some of the stuff's a couple hours. It's not a real long process. I mean, there's people that roast, in their oven at their house, people that get green beans and like doing it from start to finish. And,
I've never heard of that. That's pretty interesting.
Now, okay. I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to ask you this. And every time I see this on TV, I'm going to ask you guys and I forget. Mesquite bean coffee, I heard, is that the Cowboys used to drink. Have you ever had that? I haven't either, but they actually roast the mesquite beans and can make a coffee out of it.
Yeah, I did a show down in Mississippi. That was last year during Delta. I went down to Mississippi to their wildlife extravaganza and did a show. And I had so many people come by asking me about the chicory.
Well, that's horrible.
Like, hey, where's your chicory coffee? When are you coming out with chicory? And I'm like, I don't know.
Have you drank chicory coffee?
I've never had
it's
it.
Bad.
It's horrible. The Cafe Du Monde in New Orleans is the only place I've ever had it at. My dad was an old-time black coffee drinker, and I bought him a can of Cafe Du Monde chicory, and it sat at this lodge with about 2 scoops out of it until he died, and I threw it away.
I've still got mine that you bought the same time.
It's terrible.
This says that mesquite bean roasted coffee. If you suffer from acid reflux or an upset stomach after drinking regular coffee, mesquite bean coffee is a tasty alternative.
So people actually sell it too?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I don't know. I just doesn't sound good to me. But to each their own, I guess. I don't know. But
So what's next on the agenda for y'all traveling wise, besides ducks coming up?
We can't really go into a lot of stuff because.
oh, what an asshole answer that
No, hold
is.
on. I'm
Fuck
fixing to
off.
I'm fixing to give
Can't
you.
get into it. Fuck.
He's big time. He's big time.
He's
in
big
this
dick.
No.
This is what he's doing.
We're-
What a douche.
No, I'm going to go over a little bit of the deal. I'm going to give you some locations. I can't just tell you exactly what we're doing. Off the air, I'll be more than happy to tell you everything.
What an asshole answer.
Okay, we're
I
going.
never thought
Oh,
I would
Jesus
see
Christ.
Jeff Stanfield do that bullshit.
We're going to be in the Keys.
There you go. We'll be in the Keys. We're going to go to.
We're going to be in the Keys filming some stuff. We got some really cool
Swamp.
stuff with veterans that we're going to do and some other things. We're going to be in the swamps of Louisiana or Mississippi doing a couple of things. We will be in Canada, and we're going to do some tornado stuff in Texas or Oklahoma. And I just got the long-term forecast on that, and it looks really good for us for middle of the month in a couple of weeks here in Texas.
See, was that so hard?
I was getting into that.
I
was
can't
going
get into a bunch of this.
I can't go into the exact details, but that is what we're doing.
Fuck.
That is.
What
Go
about
ahead.
what about the East Coast in November for the
We
waterfowler?
will. Me or Andy will probably
With
be
Boss?
with Boston. We both can't be gone at that time.
For the calling contest? Is that what you're talking
Yeah.
about? The world?
I think
Yeah.
Boss is going, and we will go to that with them. We will be at one of us will be at just about everything Boss goes to. That's
And then we'll
pretty
be at
good
Shin
size.
Gear also.
And we'll be at
in
Shin Gear in
October.
October. We'll be at Shin Gear. Are you going to that deal?
Where's that?
Memphis.
In
Yeah.
Memphis, October 21st weekend, they're having a film
It's like a festival type thing.
festival thing
Nice.
Oh, really?
at the IMAX theater there, and it's going to be beer and food and a good time. There's going to be industry people there. We will be at Shin Gear in October. So and I will be at Delta. Andy will be at Squad Fest. Then we will be at Shin Gear, and then we'll be doing some filming otherwise. But that's the only 3 events that I know of up until probably the Waterfowl Festival in Easton.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think we're planning on being there, and then we get to hunt with Jeff Coates.
Oh, nice.
The 2 days after it.
Football.
So looking
Y'all
forward
did
to
that last year, didn't you?
Yeah, in
If
January.
we come up there in November, my fat ass is going to be on the boat with y'all.
How hard was the shooting?
It was really strange because you set up, and typically you want, just like an A-frame or a blind where you're shooting straight out
Yeah.
the front. Well, the tide was going out, the wind was blowing one way, so really the only person that could shoot early on was the person off the front of the boat. And then it's going, it's rocking on you, and so it's really deceiving too, because those scoters are bigger than they look, and you think that they're like in range, and they're still out there at like 60 yards. So it took a little bit of warming up, but once we sort of got the hang of it, like if the wind and the tide would have cooperated just right, then those birds, when we're picking up decoys, birds were hanging at 20 yards, just crossing, like the easiest shots you could have ever asked for. But earlier in the day, it was a lot tougher. It seemed like the weather kind of chilled out as the day went on, but it was cool as
There
hell.
are not a lot of
So-
things in the waterfowl world that I would like to do that I haven't done. I mean, it's just something I really would look forward to. But to go hunt with Jeff in that boat is one of them. I think that would be a great experience. And I want to see how hard the shooting is, because I watch them guys miss all the time. I'm like, God dang, shoot the fucking bird. Well, you take in that up and down shit, and
Did that throw you off, the swaying of the boat?
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. But, we shot, and then sometimes you're chasing cripples, and those things are diving on you, and it's hilarious. He pulls the anchor, and then you're kind of chasing these things, and they'll go underwater for like 3 minutes, and you got all 6 people with guns, like a firing squad. It pops its head up for a second, and everybody's like unloading on it, missing, You're trying to shoot at it, and all of a sudden a wave pops up between you and it, and it looks like you shoot like 20 yards in front of it because it's hitting the wave. And so we had one bird that was just hilarious. Like, I think by the end of the day, we shot a whole case of Boss shells
Holy
out
cow.
there. And most of those were at cripples, and we were like just laughing and having fun. But we also didn't want to let that bird go if we
Right.
could help it.
Did they make a lot of noise like the wings? Like when I think of wings, it's like the canvas backs, the ring necks even would just the wind cutting and stuff. Do those birds cut the wind like that, or is it?
I couldn't hear it with the wind blowing and everything
Waves.
else. The waves hitting the boat. I really couldn't hear the wing beats.
Yeah.
But it was cool. We're right off. You look back and you're looking right at Ocean City, Maryland. You can see the Ferris wheel and big buildings and all the beach resorts and all that stuff. So it's a really cool area.
Yeah, they were saying it's hard your depth perception's off because there's nothing, it's just ocean. So there's nothing to like really judge, okay, this is 50, this is 20. It's just kind of like, oh, there's a bird and shit. Now let me figure this out.
Yeah. And you see them coming, from forever away. So you're all like geared up. And then, that's why he's always saying, let them come,
Right.
let them get in. Or else people stand up, start shooting them at 100 yards because they look like they're a lot closer until you pull the gun up and then you go, oh, shit.
Did y'all shoot anything that surprised you that was different than the norm?
No, it was just a bunch of Scoter that day. Common, surf Scoter, and there's a white one. I forget what it was, but we just shot a couple of those late. But most of them were just the common Scoter, I think.
Those birds don't eat very good, do they?
I don't think so.
Yep.
We cleaned them all and sent them home with the guy that wanted them, so it was
The
great.
sucker of the group.
Yeah, I'll take
Yeah.
those.
Do you mind if I have them?
Yeah.
Oh, help
He said-
yourself.
Take all you want.
Hey, you can have mine. I got to fly out, so I can't.
Right.
Take them with
They're
me.
already salt brinded,
I'll
I
take
guess.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I heard they're not great, but you really got to cook them right, cook them a long time, is what some of the people up there were saying.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, hey Jay, so I'm on Dirty Duck's website here, and you said that you can taste the notes. How long did it take you to fix? Because I'm looking at Suns Up, Guns Up. Says whispers of chocolate caramel and tropical fruits. Like, how long did it take your palate from a non-coffee drinker to be able to pick up on those subtle notes?
Not too long because I'm a professional whiskey drinker.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So same
Right.
concept. Your taste buds pick up on different stuff if you're used to drinking it, and also, it's all sensual too. So, it's smelling, getting a good, smelling it first, getting it in the palate, then tasting it, letting it sit. All those types of things definitely play into pulling out the notes.
So when y'all are making these coffees, like you attack it as like a whiskey tasting, like you'll swirl it around. Do you try to, how do you, the temperature, do you try to drink it like right as it is brewed, or do you like give it a minute to kind of rest?
I think letting it rest with anything lets it adjust, with some air and just not straight out, especially if it's so
Right, you
hot,
can't even
like,
taste it.
you burn your
Right.
tongue, you can't taste
Yeah.
anything. So, and then it definitely, if you let it cool down, drop of water in it, stuff like that, it'll let it pull out different notes too. So just, it tastes different if you let your coffee sit for 15 minutes or 30 minutes.
Right.
So you're going to taste it different. You're going to pull out a different note of something each time based off the temperature as well.
Right. What's your favorite whiskey?
Whew. I don't know.
Is Blanton's overrated?
I've never had blends.
Okay.
So I don't know.
I've only had it.
I don't think so.
You don't think so, Buck?
I've had it once or twice, and I was impressed both times.
I've had it once.
I know it's a high price tag on it, but it's
What is Blanton's
I've been
cost?
sipping on this Russell Reserve 10-year recently, and that's really
a
good.
Reserve 10-year?
Russell Reserve.
Oh, Russell Reserve. I've seen that before.
Yeah, Russell Reserve 10-year. Logan and Rebel, they got me on. No, shoot, I can't think of it. The Evan Williams, the bottom bond, white label. For like a daily sipper, that's really good. That's your best cheap, quote unquote cheap whiskey you can get. I think it's like $30 a handle.
That is cheap.
But it drinks like a $75 bourbon. So,
because Blanton's is only like $100, isn't it?
I think it depends on where you're at. Now it's kind of a game. they've figured out that there's certain parts of the country that they can get stuff to easier than others. And so the places that it's harder to get to, like Eagle Rare on the East Coast, I guess, is just like, makers anywhere else. And so you can find it for $30 a bottle there. Whereas here in the Midwest, I mean, it's going to be $50-$60 a bottle for Eagle Rare.
You can't even find it here.
Got that stigma and that name during COVID when kind of the bourbon stuff started to take off.
Yeah, you can't even find Eagle Rare here. Every once in a blue moon, you'll see it somewhere, but most of the time, you're not going to find it.
Yeah, speaking of Logan and Rebel, they were back in the podcast, I don't know how long ago, but they were talking about Pappy. Mm-hmm. Pappy 21. They kept on Pappy 21. Well, I think it was last summer or something. I was in Fredericksburg at some fancy restaurant, and the old boy started talking to me. Him and his wife were on vacation. He was drinking Pappy 21. I said, "Is that good? I need to try that." "Yeah." I said, pour me a glass of that. The waitress said, "This is $350 a glass."
Holy
just wanted to let
shit.
you know.
How many did you have?
Just one.
Yeah, you couldn't back out at the time.
It was not worth it. No. He was staring at me. She was looking at me. I said, "Bring it."
$350 a glass. Do you have it neat or do you put it on the rocks?
I had it neat.
I'm putting mine over Coke.
I'm putting mine. Oh my God, Jeff. I would have to do it all. I'd have to do it on the rocks.
Off the flavor. Diet Coke.
I'd have to do it on the rocks because if I'm spending $350, I at least want to enjoy it. I don't want it to be hot.
Yeah.
I can do whiskey, but it's got to be I got to have ice with it. Got to have ice with it. What about E.H. Taylor? I'm seeing that everywhere. Have either one of you had that?
Hadn't.
No, I missed out. I guess there's quite a few that were around here in Kansas City area a couple weeks ago, but it's like anything else. Most people have their guy who gives them a call as soon as the good stuff gets in, and that stuff's gone. So Tom Modine, he's one of our guys here, local guys, and he's a big looking glass guy. Man, he knows all the spots, and so he's always like, I always feel like every time I see him on Facebook posting, he's always drinking the E.H. Taylor like it's makers to him. So
he's on the podcast page, I think, too.
Yeah. But that's another Buffalo Trace distillery. Like it feels like everything Buffalo Trace has is like this collector's thing. Because Blanton's is Buffalo Trace too, isn't it? I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
If you'd have bought Pappy back in the early 80s, it was I think it was a cheaper bourbon. I don't think it hit become a collector's deal until mid 80s or something.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna be correct.
Yeah, supposedly they don't make very much of it, so that's why the demand is high. They kind of created that supply and demand and rarity of Pappies.
What was that guy telling you about tequila this last weekend? There was a conversation about expensive tequilas.
Oh yeah, like if it's
not under $100, or if it's not
yeah, and I guess white or brown doesn't leave a hangover. See, I'm looking here. Blanton's is Buffalo Trace. Buffalo Trace is Buffalo Trace. Weller's Buffalo Trace. Eagle Rare's Buffalo Trace.
You can't get Weller hardly anywhere right now, can you?
But it's like everything Buffalo Trace is coming at. Because I remember we have a guy in town that drinks Weller by the fucking gallon, and
he buys it by the case, and he was pissed off about 10 years ago because he couldn't get it anymore.
So I don't know what's going on.
We got it in Costco now.
We don't have.
I've seen it at Costco all the time.
The problem was there for a little bit, you couldn't find it anywhere. I mean, nowhere. And he was just wearing him out. But he would buy 3 or 4 cases at a time because he couldn't find it.
What does bottled in bond mean? Because I see that now.
No clue.
No clue?
I really don't. Not that big of a connoisseur.
It's something to do with the way it's financed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know if it's from the state or from investors, but it's something to do with the way it's financed. Whoever's paying for it, and then it's supposed to be the bonds getting paid back as it gets sold. Right. I may be way off, but that's what I understand. So
whiskey's like coffee, and I guess cigars. Like everybody's got their flavor, and especially so. I didn't. It was COVID that led to this big boom in bourbon drinkers. Is that what it was? Because
I mean, about the time. I don't know, about the time when COVID hit, it was for some reason it just kind of started getting popular to drink bourbon, kind of like the way vodka was, 15, 20 years ago, and just kind of became the craze. And And then that Pappy Heist or whatever that show on
Right.
Netflix came out.
Oh,
at
that's
the
a
same
great
time.
show.
So you just kind of get more publicity and,
I think
something for hipsters to do.
Bourbon's probably gotten better too, because everybody used to be Scotch drinkers back in the day. Like if you went to, like I go to a resort every year, it has a nice bar, and typically we're ordering either whiskey neat or an old fashioned or something. And the bartender there told me, 5 years ago everybody was ordering Scotch. Everything was Scotch, and now it's all bourbon. So it's been a big shift.
Yeah, the professional drinkers back in the day used to be Scotch drinkers. The old guys that would come in here that I called them professional drinkers that drank every night, they were all Scotch guys. And they would always have the expensive Scotches. Now you don't see that very often, When's the last time you knew somebody that bought a $200 bottle of Scotch? They're buying bourbon now. So you're right. It has definitely changed. And it was vodka for a long time too.
Right. Yeah. Like when I was in college, it was vodka. Well, Tito's came out of all that, right? Like it was kind of this Tito's and Dripping Springs and what's the other one? Deep Ellum. Like they all kind of rode that vodka
Deep Eddy.
wave. Deep Eddy.
Yeah.
Deep Eddies.
Yeah. Like they were riding that vodka high. Your $350 glass of Pappy's, were you impressed with it?
What, $350 worth of impressed?
No. No.
If they'd have
You were
poured
too far in though.
if they'd have poured you $100 bottle of something else, would you have known the difference? Yeah, that's me
Probably
too.
not.
That's what.
I mean, not neat like that. I feel I'm like Andy. I feel like the ice opens it up a little bit more and makes it more enjoyable. But I was drinking it neat because I was scared to do anything else.
Logan and them brung a big. We did a bourbon testing a couple of years ago, and me and Andy both had COVID, and so we couldn't taste shit anyways. And so they could have put down some fucking Boone's Farm and some damn Pappy's, and we tasted Pappy's, and like I couldn't tell the difference between it and nothing else we tasted all day. But I'm not a bourbon guy either, so I don't understand.
It's just hot. It's just hot. That's all if it's neat, it's just all I taste is just fire in my mouth.
Yeah, it's like gasoline sort
Jay,
of.
are you drinking it neat or are you drinking it with ice?
I drink it neat quite a bit. Plus it's the proof. If you go a little bit lower on your proof, you're not gonna have it. It's not gonna be as hot.
So you get you taste all, because I'm sitting here with Logan and Rebel, and they're like, oh, it's got a vanilla flint to it, and it's got some juniper in it and shit. And I'm
caramel.
like, fuck it, tastes like fire to me. I don't. So you taste all that stuff when you taste it.
Yeah, I mean, not 100%. I mean, I'm not like the guys that are doing it professionally, but you can pull out different notes at different times. I'm probably elementary compared to the professionals do it, but I'll pick out a note or two here and there, and I feel like I'm pretty big.
I can't do that. What do you call the person that does the wine? That's
sommelier.
A sommelier. Do they have that for bourbon? I wonder yet.
I bet. I can look it up.
I'm sure
Probably.
they do.
Bourbon Baron.
What is a?
So that'd be cool.
Tastes like sawdust.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be Kentucky Deluxe.
And there's no way I'm gonna spell. Oh, I got it right. Sommelier for bourbon. We'll see what old Google says. Yeah, it seems like there's becoming one. You can take a class.
I think it's just called alcoholic.
Right.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Like they're hiding it. They're hiding it well. Oh no, I do this for a living.
Yeah, they call it AA meetings.
This just says Certified Bourbon Professional Sommelier Study Program. You can go to the councilofwhiskeymasters.org. So it's not even a .com website. So that seems professional to me.
I watched a deal where one of the food guys was down in Brazil or somewhere. Where do most coffee beans come from? They come from South America, right?
A lot of them do.
That's
Good
where
chunk,
he was
yeah.
at, and he was at a place that done coffee, and it was a taster of coffee, different types. That guy would sip about 20 cups at a time. And he would spit out, and he would write down some notes and stuff on it. And I thought that would be a terrible job.
Why?
Spitting
it out?
I couldn't imagine that's what you do every day is tasting coffee. He was a.
But if he loves coffee,
well, I'm sure you couldn't do it if you didn't like coffee.
yeah.
But just all day long, all he did was do these tables, and he would grade them. And I don't know if he worked for Folgers or somebody. It was a big company, but it was interesting to see how they did it. So y'all's coffee beans are coming from the same places their coffee beans are coming from.
Just depends. We get them from like 16 different countries.
And each one of those, do they have to be used like a different way? Because I'm looking at Dark Dynasty. Beans come from Nicaragua. It's a medium roast. Like, would you have to do that with the Nicaraguans, or could you go a little bit lighter with those beans, or would it just not have the right flavor? If that makes.
I mean, it's going to have a different flavor on, basically the recipe on how you roast it. So.
Yeah, and then
how long you're cooking it. I mean, that's going to determine.
But like
the medium versus dark versus light.
But can you do a dark roast with a Nicaraguan bean, or are those always better with like a lighter roast?
You can burn any steak.
Oh, that's true too.
So,
yeah,
I think the different beans, the different regions are going to give the different flavors to it based off the climate of where they're coming from.
What about I was told a long time ago that Brownsville, Texas was where all the coffee beans come in from South America. Is that true?
Why would it?
I don't have a clue. That'd be a question for, you guys know Will Burrows.
Yes.
He's our master coffee roaster.
I'm going to ask Will that because I had a guy that a friend of mine's wife worked for Burlington Northern, one of the railroads, and all she was in charge of getting the coffee beans from Brownsville, Texas to different places. They would bring them in, and they would come in by but that's where the big coffee places come in that she told me about. But I know there's coffee made in Jamaica, and there's Mexican coffee beans, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So do y'all fly down to different places and see what they got, or do you let your roaster take care of all that?
We let Will handle all that.
Yep.
So he's like mad scientist when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah,
that's a Will problem.
Yeah. So we tell him what we're looking for, and then he basically makes it happen.
Right.
So he makes our life easy.
So what is next? Put your crystal ball up. Are we going to wait and see how the cold brew does, and maybe is there going to be like another flavored cold brew, or are we going to go back to the hot stuff?
Probably espressos on the hit list. We get asked a lot for that.
I don't know anything about espresso, but I don't know how to make an espresso, but I love it at a restaurant.
Yep.
So
espresso be out before fall, before hunting season. We have another bag we're going to rebrand to. Our orange bag is going to be more of an upland themed hunting bag. So
is the espresso game is that totally different from what y'all are already doing, or is that kind of in the same vein?
I think it's in the same vein. We get asked for espresso a lot, and you can make an espresso roast just like a normal pot of coffee, and it's just a darker, more flavorful roast. So it's not something where you have to have the fancy espresso machine and do all that stuff.
Don't you have one of those, Andy?
No, fuck. Some of those espresso machines are a couple grand.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you're going to run into the snobs, is when you get off into the espresso game. That's when it's going to happen.
I don't know. We've impressed quite a bit of coffee aficionados. A lot of people that they've commented, emailed us or at a show, they've tasted it, and you can tell they're pretty seasoned. They like their coffee a particular way, and they're like, I was really impressed. This is really good. So I think we'll do all right in espresso.
I'm going to have to get me an espresso maker when the espresso beans come out. They're not that bad. You can get one for a couple $100. Hell yeah. Yeah, it's exciting. Let me see here. Yeah, $120. Fuck, sign me up. Might not make an espresso worth of shit. Might taint your quality of bean, but
is that the ones where you make the white on top of it and you make designs on shit?
No, Jeff. That's
okay.
cappuccino.
Okay.
But an espresso is
that's just straight black shit, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like a shot.
Yeah, it's like.
But a cappuccino, you're just putting like froth milk over it, right? Over an espresso, and that's your cappuccino. I love coffee. I love that you guys are doing this. That's so exciting. Made my day. Now I got.
Next time you're down in Mexico, you need to get a Catajillo. It's a coffee liqueur type drink that's just perfect for like late afternoon. You need a little pick me up, kind of getting lazy, and you might sleep through dinner because you've been drinking all day. It's called a Catahio, and they're amazing. So,
what's y'all's favorite way of brewing coffee? Because there's a bunch of different ways. You got the pot, you got the what's the French press, and there's a million different ways to make a cup of coffee. What's y'all's personal favorite?
Yeah, I'm just straight up old school pot, black coffee drinker type of guy.
Just right out of the pot?
Same here.
I mean, I like good. Yeah, I just like good black coffee.
What
made traditional?
You make some off the percolator.
I don't think. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that there's a huge difference between a pour over and a French press, and essentially you're all doing the same thing. You're putting hot water on the coffee grounds.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
It looks fancy and all that stuff, but I mean, yeah, the French press, you get more flavor because you have more grounds in it, but good coffee it makes itself.
That's right. Yeah, I bought a percolator and it came in handy. We had an ice storm and we lost power for like 2 days. And I was the only one on my block with fresh coffee every morning. So
there you
the percolator saved me.
On the gas grill or something?
Yeah, on a gas stove. Yep, just
gas stove.
Flick it open and then turn it on with a lighter, and I had fresh coffee every morning.
Cowboy
coffee. That's all that it was. Had grounds and everything else in it. You also get to spit out coffee grounds every drink. So it was special. All right. Let's see. I think we're over an hour here. So Ducks this weekend. We'll have all the new bags out there and all that cool stuff. We'll have merchandise. Jeff, y'all are going to shit out new T-shirts in 2 days. So
there you go.
Congratulations on that. We just made your life a lot more hectic. And then everybody can come out. They can sample. You'll have the cold brew. People can sample that, and then you'll have a couple different hot coffee samplers for everybody to try out.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Well, we're looking at
bunch of hats, bunch of tumblers, lots of merch. So
come out to Ducks. You'll be inside, so that'll be nice. You should have a nice crowd. People beating the heat from the outside. Are y'all going to shoot any guns or anything while y'all are there?
Probably not.
No? Nothing new out there?
I set up the whole clays course for them.
Oh, you did? I got a story for y'all on Friday. We shot clays in Tennessee. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
It was
at Nashville Gun Club.
It was Cross Creek Sporting Clays. It was outside of Nashville.
Beautiful place.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that place is
beautiful
nice.
Course, but evidently there had been a pro tour came through there the weekend before we got there, and they haven't readjusted everything. So,
oh geez,
yeah, we'll tell you on Friday.
They're one of my customers.
Cross Creek,
all the
great people,
mech machines out there.
Yeah,
it was a great beautiful course, great facility, nice people, super place. I'm telling you.
But hard targets.
Oh my God,
Andy, we can't talk about all that.
Oh well, I can tell them on Friday.
That bragger,
big time again.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll tell you on Friday about our experience at Cross Creek. It was a lot of fun though, but it was a lot of fun.
Hey Andy, you got to make sure Jeff doesn't forget my hat.
I won't.
What hat is that?
It's the one that you had the other day. It's the brown.
The camo mesh.
Oh, right there.
Yeah, don't let Jeff forget it.
I'll put it in my bag right now.
Show him that one. That's the
this one.
It's kind of blurry, but
no, that's not it.
No, that's not it.
Which one is it?
I'll get it to him.
This one.
It's kind of got like this pattern, kind of like this. It's the lighter.
Okay, yeah, that's in there.
I'm gonna grab it right now.
He's gonna get it right now. Maybe. What? Turn on a light in there.
I was trying to buy it on the website, and he couldn't tell me how to find it. I didn't see it on there. He's like, I'll just bring it to you.
Let me see that one. Is it the old school? God damn.
Yeah, old school.
The old school camo like that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That one.
It's in my bag. Yeah, that's it.
Sweet.
All right. Buck, you want one also?
Why not?
Yeah.
I'll get you a duck stuff hat
Times
for it.
2.
Yeah.
All right. They're both in my bag. I will see you guys this weekend, and I'm looking forward to trying out this cold brew.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. DirtyDuck.coffee or DirtyDuckCoffee.com. Easy enough website to find all y'all stuff if anybody's not going to be in Texas and wants to buy some of this good stuff. So easy enough, right?
They got discount code with Big
There you
Honker, right?
Yeah. What is it? It's just BHP, isn't it?
I can't remember.
I can't remember either. Yeah, I'll try them all.
It's just Big Honker.
Yeah, I think it's Big
I think
Honker.
that's right. Yeah. Yep. Big honker. So there you go. You can save a little bit of moolah. Head over to dirtyduckcoffee.com and do it that way. But if you want to try some of this stuff, head over to Ducks, Texas Motor Speedway. You can try it all firsthand. So thank you guys for coming on here, and we'll see you guys this weekend.
I appreciate it,
Hey,
guys.
thank you
Have a
guys.
good one.
Good luck. God bless, and see y'all in safe travels. See y'all on Thursday.
Friday for me.
Yep, Thursday for me.
Bye, everybody.
See you. Bye.
DirtyDuckCoffee.com. Use the promo code Big Honker. Let me see if that works. It doesn't matter. I can do that off air. All right. Yeah, this weekend, come to Texas Motor Speedway. There's going to be a lot of our sponsors there. Pacific will be there. Boss will be there. These guys are going to be there. Shin going to be there. And then we'll be there too. So we look forward to seeing everybody out there this weekend. Come by, say hello, spend a little bit of money with our sponsors, and bye-bye. Go check them out. Go check out Alpha Outdoors, Stanfield Hunting Outfitters, Ducks Unlimited, Double T British Kennels, Dirty Duck Coffee, Looking Glass Podcast, Lucky Duck, Shin Gear, Pacific Calls, Dive Bomb Industries, Boss Shot Shells, and Mossberg.